Hi folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to check out Starfall. No, it's not a James Bond movie. It's a tabletop game. It supports 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, and average play time is about 30 minutes. Though I do have to say, this age limit here, 13 and up, I think that's a bit harsh. I've seen talented 8 and 10-year-olds tackle more complicated games than this. I think the main concern here might be these really tiny pieces. And, you don't want little kids eating those kind of things. So, yeah, just use your judgment, parents, but I'm pretty sure, don't let the age limit scare you away from this. It's a very easy-to-play game. So what is Starfall all about? Well, basically, players are going to be collecting these sky tiles over here in order to score points. It's very similar to Sushi Go, if you've ever played that, in the sense that the icons that you collect all score a little bit differently. Like, for example, in Sushi Go, you get points for... Sushi Go, if you don't know, is a food drafting game where players have a hand of cards, they choose one, pass it around, they receive a set of cards from the next player, pick one, pass it around. Whatever cards they end up with at the end of the round is what they score on. And they score in different ways. Like desserts, if you have the majority of those at the end of the game, you get so many points. If you have this card and this card combined, you can get a lot of points. If you have 2 of these cards, you get some points. If you don't have at least 2 cards of that, then you don't score anything. So on and so forth. This works the same way. You've got stars. Whoever has the majority of them at the end of the game gains 10 points. Whoever has the fewest stars in a 3 or 4 player game only loses 5 points. Planets are worth 5 points apiece. Moons are worth 3 points, but must have a planet to match it to. So if you have 3 moons but only 2 planets, you only score for 2 of the moons. Black holes, if you have 1, it's worth -5. If you have 2 or more, they are worth together 15 points. 3 or more black holes are still 15 points, but grabbing them may prevent other players from making sets. Comets increase in worth for each one you have. And here's a little chart here. So each one is worth 3 points if you have 1, 4 points if you have 2, 5 points if you have 3, 6 points you have 4, and so on. Then you've got nebula here, are worth 2 points apiece, and you get a bonus for each unique color that you have based on the following chart. So if I collect 2 of different colors, the bonus points are 4. If I collect 3 of different colors, the bonus is 9, and so on. So basically that's it. You're going to be buying these sky tiles as they appear, the cost of which will be determined by this board here, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the game will win, based on the sky tiles that they've collected. So let me show you the components real quick. This is a look at the box insert. Nothing too fancy. Some baggies, some reference cards, which are here. This is a look at the manual. It's about 4 pages long. You've got Stardust, which is sort of like your currency, but 2 of them are also worth a point at the end of the game. So they also serve as victory points. So it's up to you on how you want to work that. But the white ones are worth 1 and the orange ones are worth 5. Each player starts with 5 orange ones and 7 white ones at the beginning of the game. They also get one of these reference cards, which basically outline what I explained in the manual as far as scoring goes. There's nothing on the other side. And then you've got this cost board. Basically, as these sky tiles come up, they'll be put on the most expensive slot, which is the number 9 over here, and then they'll work their way down. Players will be able to take actions to allow them to become cheaper, and then whenever a player buys them, whatever slot they're on is how much they cost. So if someone were to buy this right now, it's worth 3. They'd have to pay 3 of these Stardust. Now, there are some of these tiles that have stars already on them. Players can turn these in conjunction with these to use as currency, but they lose the tile. So you can give up a tile that you've gained in order to use the stars on it to pay for something that you might want. So these are the ones that were taken out of the game for the 2-player mock-up that I did. At the beginning of the game, you're going to take out so many sky tiles depending on how many people are playing. In a 4-player game, you don't take any out. In a 2-player game, you take 10 out. So these are just out of the game completely. Alright, so as far as what a player does on their turn, they can take 1 of 3 actions. One thing a player can do is they can take a sky tile from here and put it on the most expensive slot available. The next thing they can do is they can move an existing piece that's on here down to the next available number. And then finally, a player can turn in Stardust in order to buy or collect or discover one of the sky tiles that are here and then collect it for endgame scoring. That's the gist of it, really. You can't have more than 3 of these on this track at one time. So let's go ahead and do a few example turns so you can see how it goes. Let's say it's this player's turn over here on the left. By the way, the first player is the player that last visited a planetarium. It's up to you. You can do it randomly if you want. So let's say that I just grab this at random and put it here. That's my action. That's it. It has a planet and a black hole. Okay? So now this player goes. He can either make this cheaper and then end his turn, or he can collect another one and put it here. I think that's what it'll do. So there's 2 stars and 2 comets on that one. Now it's this player's turn again. He can either make this one cheaper, he can either make this one cheaper, it goes down to the 7, or he can maybe buy one, or he could put another one down that goes on the 7 here. So let's say he decides to do that. There's a moon, there's a star, and there's this green nebula here. Okay. So now it's this player's turn. Now you can only have 3 on this track. You can't have any more. So the player can't add any more to this. So he either has to move or pay for something. So let's say he decides to make the 8 cheaper. Moves it down to the 6, and that ends their turn. Now this player goes, 2 stars and 2 comets. Well, according to this, a comet is worth, if he managed to get this one, there's 2 comets on this already. So if he were to collect this, each comet would be worth 4 points. So he could have 8 potential points there, plus he could get 1 more point for the 2 white stars there. So he's thinking about it. I mean, he would, in effect, spend 6 in order to get, 3 more points than that. So he's deciding, does he really want to do that? He's going to go ahead and move this down cheaper. This player over here decides, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to spend 6 on this? Am I going to maybe make this one cheaper? In fact, let's just go ahead and make this one cheaper. This player's turn. This player goes, okay, tough call. I could buy the 5 and I can get a moon. I have no planets though, so that moon wouldn't give me any points right now. There's a nebula, and I have to be on the lookout for something other than green to collect so I can get some points on that. And then there's that white star. Okay, so let's just make this one cheaper. And this player goes, okay, you know what? I'm going to bank on the fact that I'm going to get some planets later, because there's a planet here, maybe I'll get it. So he's going to pay for this one. That was on the 5 space. We're going to turn in one of the orange ones. You can never get these back, these little pieces here. Once you use them, you lose them. Okay? Sort of like 8-Minute Empire. You start the game with so much money, and whatever you spend, that's it. You don't have any more to spend when when you run out. So, I mean, you can, again, spend these tokens here, but I would consider that a last resort, unless it's like really, really good for you. So now it's this player's turn. This player bought that one. So he can either move another one out onto the 9, make something cheaper. He's going to go ahead and move something out onto the 9. Oh, there's another black hole. So now these 2 tiles are looking really good. This blue one is looking good to this player over here because he's got a green nebula. This is a blue nebula. So again, really good, but he has to hope to get another black hole if he were to get this one. Again, 1 black hole by itself is minus 5 points. 2 black holes is 15. So, a positive 15. So now this player goes. This player's going to make this one cheaper. Okay, now it's this player's turn. This player goes, you know what? I see that this player wants that planet in order to score on that moon. I'm going to go ahead and spring for that one. He has to hope that he gets a black hole at some point in the future. Otherwise, he's going to get negative 5 points. So he's going to turn this 5 in there. And now it's this player's turn. This player goes, okay, I can take one out, I can buy one, I'm going to make this one cheaper, sure. This player goes, I'm going to bring one out, sure. There's a red nebula, again, looking very nice to this player here. There's a planet, also would jive well with this moon over here, and 1 star. Okay? And you get the idea. This will continue back and forth until there's only one sky tile left, or until players are out of stardust. If that ever happens, then the game is over. Players will calculate their scores based on the various scoring methods here, and the game will end. As far as what I thought about Starfall, it's a very simple set collecting game. Again, if you've played Sushi Go, you'll feel right at home with this. It's just a sky theme as opposed to a food theme, and it's laid out a little bit differently. In Sushi Go, it was a little bit more simplistic, at least the original version of Sushi Go. Sushi Go eventually released a deluxe version, which had a lot more food options. You could customized sets, sort of like in Dominion, and throw different foods in there for one game, and then another game use different foods. But this game offers a little bit more in the sense that you can use existing stars that you might have collected here in order to pay for something else later down the line. And again, there is this pay mechanic, and again, that's also something that Sushi Go doesn't have. You just collect the card, you put it down in Sushi Go, that's it. Here, you actually have some resource management to worry about. So this game's slightly more complicated than Sushi Go, but my gosh, that was a loud truck, apologies. Like, I live next to a busy street, I can't help it. No matter what time I record, there's always something going up my hill. Anyway, this game is really cool. It's very casual, very light. If you like games, set collecting games like Sushi Go with different scoring mechanics, then I would say give this one a look. Again, that was Starfall. You can get it on Amazon for about 25, 30 bucks, somewhere around there. Again, prices on Amazon will fluctuate based on the market demand, but Starfall. If you guys want to see an actual game of this between, say, Vinny and I, or Idly and I, let me know. If you guys haven't already, subscribed to my channel and check out my official website, www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.